Good evening, everybody. This is just Bob Bowman, and I'm back with another live stream. I'm starting this evening because I went and worked out after I got off of work. And to be honest, it was very hard for me to work out. Um, I am a disabled veteran, and every day that I wake up every morning, I'm in pain. But in spite of that pain, in spite of how difficult it can get for me sometimes, I still get myself up out of bed. I still do what it is that I need to do in order to keep myself mobile. I do want to lose weight. However, I know that the most important thing that I need to focus on is to keep my mobility up so I can be somewhat in shape just in case anything happens that I need to be in shape for. And you never know with everything that's going on in the world. I want to keep myself as prepared as possible. And also, when I get older, I don't want to get to the point to where I'm in a wheelchair or have to use a walker or anything like that. So I make sure that I work out at least 3 times a week. I make sure that I do at least an hour or hour and a half during those 3 times. And I keep myself very active, and I've been watching what I eat and how much I eat. I don't eat 3 meals a day like I used to. Sometimes I eat two, sometimes one. It all depends on what it is that I eat and how much I eat. And that has been helping me maintain the weight that I'm 20. I'm hoping that one day I get under 200. Like my optimal weight that I want to get to is 180. That way I can be more comfortable in moving around, and I don't have this extra body weight on me that's putting extra pressure on my joints and my lower back. And that's what's really been bothering me a lot. The topic that I want to talk to you about today, and it is related to what I just said, and it's honesty. And growing up, I've always heard that honesty is the best policy. And I know that there was some times where I was honest and I would still get a very harsh punishment, even when I was honest. And there was times where I wasn't honest and the truth came out and I still got the harsh punishment. And now that I'm older, I'm understanding that it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter. You might as well just tell the truth and deal with the consequences, because if you don't, it can make things worse for you later on. Like you'll become way less trustworthy. People won't believe your side of the story most of the time. They won't regard what you have to say if they deem you to be a untrustworthy person or dishonest, even if you come off as a so-called nice guy. And for many years, I've tried to hold up that image of being a nice guy, and I learned that it was a waste of time. Being a nice guy isn't being honest with anybody, especially yourself. And that's where honesty first starts with. It starts with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, you can never be honest with anybody else. When you're being a nice guy, you're not honest with yourself, and that's what leaves you open to being taken advantage of, because you're not taking control of your boundaries that you need to set. And when people don't see the boundaries that you need to have in your life, they're going to cross those boundaries and they're going to disrespect you, and they're going to think that it's okay because of the way that you presented yourself. And I've learned that as I've gotten older. And now I'm at this point in my life where it I didn't get taught these things when I was growing up. Um, like I was taught to just treat people nice, work hard. Eventually, things would go your way, and I had to learn the hard way that it doesn't work out like that. As a matter of fact, sometimes when you work hard and you do the best that you can, it still won't work out the way that you think that it should. For example, I remember I worked a job for over 9 years. And at this job, I can honestly say that I put in a lot of extra hours at this job. Like I did way more than what was expected of me at times. When I first got hired there, they didn't think I was going to last more than 6 months. But out of the 6 months, I ended up being there way longer than what they even thought that I would be. Actually, I outlasted a lot of people that thought that I was going to leave way before they did. And there were times where I went beyond what I was supposed to do. There were times when I helped train people, I helped show people the ropes, and I never got a promotion at that job. And one thing that I had to learn from that experience is that sometimes you can work as hard as you want. You can do the best that you can, but it still might not work out the way that you think that it should. And one of the reasons why it didn't work out the way that it was supposed to, because I was deemed to have an attitude issue because I wouldn't allow people to down talk me and belittle me the way that they thought they should be able to because of their positions. And with some jobs, you have people that have that thought process in their head that just because they're in a higher position, a higher level, they should be able to down talk you, talk to you any type of way. And I totally don't agree with that. Like, yeah, you don't have to be nice to a person. You can be stern, you could be stiff with a person, but at the same time, you don't have to talk to them like they a little child or anything like that. And so I had a issue with that. It took me a long time to get out of that job. Like after 4.5 years, I was doing the best that I could to leave that job. And I ended up staying there for 4.5 more years after in my mind I knew that I wanted to get out of there. And I worked really hard. I went to college. I got the best grades that I possibly could. And even after I got my degree, it was still hard for me to find another job. And I saw people that didn't work nearly as hard as I did get good jobs. And I had to wait several years before I had the opportunity to have a decent paying, livable wage job. And that let me know that it doesn't matter how much work I do, how much butt kissing I do, how much I try to be nice, how much I try to comply. Sometimes things just doesn't work out the way that you think it should, and that's just the way that it is in life. Like there are some people who are never going to touch $1 million, and everybody isn't meant to touch $1 million, but hey, if that's what you want to do, you can still strive for it. But I know that with myself, I'm just going to do the best that I can with where I'm at, not complain too much because I'm still a human being. Sometimes I'm going to catch myself complaining, but I'm going to do my best not to complain too much, do the best that I can, work hard, manage my money good, and become the best version of myself. Now, I talk about honesty, and I had to be honest with myself at one point and during this time that I'm telling you about when I worked this job for over 9 years, and it was a time where I had to be honest with myself and say, hey, I don't think I ever will get promoted here. And it doesn't matter what I do, how hard I work, I'm stuck where I'm at. I need to figure out another way of going about things. And this happens in every facet in life. It don't just happen with jobs, it happens with communities, it happens with families, it happens with friendships, it happens in all other aspects of life, what I'm talking about. Now, I want to say one thing. I don't hate anybody. And that's me being honest. I don't hate anybody. There are people that I dislike, out here in the world, but I don't hate anybody. There are some people that I wish I could smack them dead in their face, but I know that I can't do that because, for one, I would go to jail. For two, that would already further ruin my already destroyed reputation, which what I had before. So I have to learn how to calm those thoughts that I have in my mind of fighting or attacking somebody that I feel or think is doing me wrong. And I have to be honest with myself that I can't do that at my age. I'm too old to be acting that way. Like once you get out of teenage years and you're an adult, it's not worth fighting over some stupid stuff. It's not worth fighting over words. The best thing that I can do at this point in my life is to stay away from certain people that I know that want to provoke me, that want to see me get angry, that want to see me upset. And that's just being honest with myself. Like sometimes like people say, oh, you shouldn't worry about it, you shouldn't, like you shouldn't avoid certain people, you should just deal with it. But there are times where I cannot just sit there and take somebody's BS. It doesn't matter how much anybody tries to encourage me. It doesn't matter how much anybody try to tell me like, oh, you should just ignore it. The only way that I'm going to be able to ignore it and to forget about it is to get away from them people. Because honestly, I don't need to be around them people. And to be honest, I haven't been honest with myself for a long time. Not until recently. Like, there were times where I tried to force relationships with not only women, but with friends or people that I thought were friends or groups. I tried to force my way into acceptance in different groups and try to force my way into acceptance in upper echelons of society. And I had to understand that it doesn't work that way. You can't force a lot of things. And you can't nice your way into a good position. You can't nice your way into a relationship. You can't nice your way into friendship. You can't nice your way into any type of acceptance. As far as I understand, sometimes a person just doesn't fit in. It doesn't matter what they do, it doesn't matter what they say, they just do not fit in. There are a lot of people trying to sell ideas to others on how to get what it is that they want. And there's been times where I've purchased things that I thought would help me get to another level, and it didn't work for me. You know why? Because everything doesn't work for everybody. It's no one size fit all in this world, in this society. Everybody is an individual. This is what I honestly think off of the personal experiences that I've had in my life. I cannot force anybody to like me. I cannot force anybody to accept me. I cannot force anybody to respect me. They have to want to do those things. And sometimes they do those things when a person is being brutally honest, or if that person strikes so much fear in them that they say, oh, I might as well just treat this person with respect because I don't want them to go off on me. I understand that now way more than I did before. And speaking about being honest, I am a passport bro. I just became one earlier this month. I know that there are misconceptions and ideas that others may have, excuse me, that others may have of what a passport brother is and how they are and how they act. But until you are one, you have no idea. Like I said in my previous live, I don't agree with everything that every passport brother got to say. I don't, I'm not trying to sell anything as the end all that be all. As a matter of fact, I'm going to drop some truth bombs right now about traveling overseas. Like, if you're looking to get away from baby mamas, guess what? Baby mamas are over there as well as they are here. If you're looking to get away from rejection, women are going to reject you over there just like they do here. It may be at a different level, but you're still going to have those instances of rejection that happen to you overseas. And it's been documented because I've seen other guys that call themselves passport brothers go overseas and they try to talk to the women, and the women look at them like, I wouldn't want to talk to you. And guess what? That happens. You know, like people want to, I don't like one thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to tell another man where he needs to stick his Johnson at. I refuse to do that. I don't care what anybody does with their body. Let them do what it is that they want to do with their body. That goes for men and women. Because guess what? Women travel overseas and they be doing some nasty stuff that they don't want anybody to know. But you have a lot of men or a lot of people in general that want to focus on what this group of men are doing. And it's like, why do you even care? If these men don't feel like they're accepted where they're at and they want to go somewhere else and venture off and explore the different possibilities of what they can do with the rest of their lives, why don't you just let them live instead of trying to shame them for trying to find themselves? That's the main thing that I have an issue with some of the people that talk down or talk bad about the men that get their passports and travel overseas. It's like, why do you care? Why do the dating coaches care? Is it because the dating coaches know that they're going to lose money the more and more men start waking up and saying, why am I wasting time with people that don't like me here? People that already made it in their mind that they're not going to cooperate with me. And they already know that no matter what they do, no matter how much so-called game they work on, no matter how much they work out, no matter how much they get their outfits and their house and their car and their money together, it doesn't matter. It's been a scam. It's been a monetary scam for this long. And it's not just with the PUAs. It's not just the pickup artists and those guys that the game coaches is. It's not just those guys that's doing this. It's also the churches. They try to shame men into taking bad deals. It's like if I don't want if I don't want to be a stepdaddy to a certain woman, can't nobody make me be a stepdaddy to that woman. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you do. I've been canceled before. 2 years ago, I was canceled. But guess what? I'm back up here. I'm back up here talking. I'm back up here doing what it is that I want to do because this is what I want to do. I don't care how anybody feel about me, as long as I'm not being disrespectful to any type of group of people. And I haven't been disrespectful to any type of group of people, even though I've been accused of being disrespectful to certain people. I got disrespected way before, just from my first video. I had comments that was kind of disrespectful towards me, and I wasn't even mentioning other people or groups of people. but I was accused of putting down certain women. I was accused of spreading propaganda. Now, if you want me to be truthfully, I think that one thing that I should say to those that have something negative to say about what it is that I'm doing with my life and me discussing what it is that I'm doing with my life openly to help other people that might be in the same position as me, I have two words for you: screw you. You're not going to stop me from talking. You're not going to stop me from putting out my point of view, especially when I'm being 100% honest in my point of view. I'm not making it seem like, oh, it's just a fantasy world, some type of Disney type of BS. I would never do that. I would never sell other people hopes and dreams when it isn't a reality. It's a risk. It's a risk going overseas. It's a risk that things might not turn out that good for a person. It's a risk that they might get scammed or they might get robbed or they might get drugged or any other negative thing that could happen to them. But at the same time, if that person thinks in their mind that, hey, I'm not getting a good deal over here, so why not see what else is out there, the other possibilities that's out there? Because if I don't like a certain woman, and I'm doing the best that I can not to like be descriptive of the type of women that I don't want. I could say this. Okay, I'll say it like this. If I like somebody that's slim to medium size, beautiful face, feminine, cooperative, supportive, understanding, somebody that's working on themselves while I'm working on myself, somebody in that category, possibly no children. If they do have a child, one at the max, two, and by the same guy, hopefully not multiple men, just because that's what I like or that I desire, it doesn't make me a bad person. But you have some people out here that will say that I'm negative or I'm a bad person because I'm not giving certain women an opportunity. But I know that if I was to get with them, I'm not gonna really like them. If I was to get with them, I'm not gonna treat them good because I really don't like them. And I understand that there's women that feel the same way about me because I'm not 6 feet. I don't have six-pack abs. I'm not ripped. I don't make six figures a year or over. You know, I'm an average looking guy. Actually, I'm slightly above average, just to be honest with you. But an average looking guy. I'm 40 years old with no children. Most women will look at that and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't know about him. He ain't got no kids and he's 40 and you know, his money ain't all that good. Like he only make so much amount of money, yada yada yada, whatever." And I have to live with that. I have to live with that rejection and I have to accept it. So since I have to live with it and accept it, so do certain women have to live with the same type of rejection that I face. And that's just the facts of life. That's just the facts. I know that it's hard to deal with. It seems harsh, it seems unfair, but life is unfair. And I know that I've been accused of thinking that life should be fair, but I know that it's unfair. That's the reason why I went out and I traveled and I went to a different country to see what was going on. And I plan on going to other countries in the future. I plan on exploring the possibilities for my life, getting to know different people, getting acquainted, learning things, learning new languages, uh, trying new foods, going to different areas, different spots, different beaches. Just enjoying life. That's all I want to do is really enjoy life, be as happy as I possibly can be, And I'm not downing anybody for the way that they live their life and how they want to pursue happiness. Like I was saying, I don't know if I ever get married again, but I'm not mad at anybody else that's thinking about getting married again. Actually, it's a guy that I live next to that I went to high school with. He's about to get married, and I know his wife. I went to high school with both of them, and I think that it's a wonderful thing, and they both chose this path together. So I'm not looking down on marriage. I'm not looking down on men or women traveling. I'm not looking down on the men that want to stick here and fight the good fight if they want. If they want to use their time and their energy and their attention on that and their money on that, hey, I salute you. Better you than me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm done wasting my time. And that's just me being truthful. I'm not out here dogging anybody. I'm not out here being disrespectful. I just want to be able to express myself the way that I need to without all the harsh backlash that I have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but sometimes the truth hurts. And sometimes telling the truth is going to hurt somebody's feelings. And believe me, I've had people tell me things about myself that I didn't want to hear. Even if it wasn't true to me, it might have been true to a group of people outside of myself. But at the same time, I understand that sometimes perception becomes the truth in certain cases. And I had to accept that. I had to accept that sometimes I was coming off a little bit too needy of others. And I had to change that about myself. I accepted that I was being a people pleaser and I was allowing myself to get used a lot. I was allowing myself to be ran over and used by different women just because of how they look. And it doesn't matter how good they look. If they don't want to treat me right, I don't need to be with them. Just like if it's a woman that I'm not physically attracted to and I know it's nothing that I can do about it, I can't force myself to be attracted to her even if she's attracted to me. And I've done that before in my life and it never worked. So I had to be truthful and honest to myself and be like, hey, maybe it's okay for me to be by myself. You know, like, and to be honest, I had to ask myself, would I rather be lonely and die by myself, or would I rather be with somebody that I'm not attracted to or somebody that isn't going to treat me good? And I had to come to that conclusion that I would rather die alone. And there's a lot of women that feel the same way that I feel. But as a man, I'm not supposed to have my own opinions and my own thoughts. I'm educated, but you think that I'm not supposed to use my education or my thinking capacities in order to come up with a conclusion that's best for my life. And that's all I'm saying. I'm being honest with myself. It doesn't matter what you might think about what it is that I should do, but I'm being honest with myself. Would I rather die alone than to suffer those things that I just said? Yes, I would. And I am prepared to die alone with no children if necessary. And that's me being honest about everything. I, I'm at the point to where I don't care about what my family thinks. I don't care about what these churches think. I don't care about what any of my so-called peers or associates think. It is what it is. I'm prepared to be by myself if I have to. That's what being a man is. Being a man is sticking to what it is that you believe or you think, regardless of how the reactions of others is going to happen. Like I said, I've been canceled before. 2 years ago, I was canceled, but I'm still here after that cancellation. And you know why? Because I wasn't really canceled. I just let the opinions of others affect me to the point to where I lowered myself until I had built up myself enough to where I can put myself out here again. And I'm being honest way more than I was before I got canceled. So now that I'm at this point, ain't nobody really gonna stop me from expressing myself the way that I want. It doesn't matter what they think, what they have to say, none of that. That's because I'm a grown man. And it ain't just age wise, it's also maturity wise. Because I'm like, it doesn't matter how much money I got in the bank, it doesn't matter how much status I have in the world, it doesn't matter how much materialistic stuff that I have, it doesn't matter how good I dress, how good I smell, where I work at, if I work out, how I eat, anything. What matters is that I have enough confidence in myself in order to be able to be honest and truthful, regardless of the backlash or regardless of the negative reactions that may or may not happen. And that's where I'm at in my life right now because I really don't care. Yeah, I'm not as educated as a lot of people. I don't have a PhD. I'm not successful as far as businesses or anything like that. But at the same time, I'm standing my ground. I'm able to put myself out there. I'm able to say what it is that I want to say in a respectful manner because I understand that I have a job and I don't want to lose that job. So I'm not going to overstep those boundaries and be unprofessional outside of that job. Like that one therapist lady was that ended up getting fired, even though she's trying to blame black men for her getting fired. No, it was her actions that did that because she didn't want to talk to us with any type of respect. She wanted to be able to disrespect us, shame us, put us down like we ain't doing what it is that we need to do. She doesn't know all of us. She doesn't know what everybody is doing. She doesn't know what I'm doing personally. And with that being said, I'm just being honest. I'm just Bob Bowman. And I've been at this for the past 32 minutes. I thank everybody that have taken the time to look at my live stream. I thank everybody that will look at the replays of this. I'm thankful to the Most High to be able to say what it is that I want to say, unadulterated, uh, honestly, being truthful. This is the way that I want to be from now on. Because I realize that I have one life to live and eventually I'm going to die. So I might as well die like a man and deal with the consequences of being honest. If I mess up, I mess up. Let me be honest about it. Um, if I fail, I fail. Let me be honest about it, not only to others, but to myself. If I'm uh, unsuccessful, if I'm not doing what it is that I need to do in order to be the best version of myself, let me be honest with myself where I don't have to be ashamed around other people if they want to point that out to me. That's where I'm at right now. It took me a long time to get here after growing up, after having to be docile and not having the ability to say and express the way that I needed to say it in my own way. And that's where I'm at because I'm going to do that. It doesn't matter what anybody have to say. If they don't like what I have to say. It don't matter what family member doesn't like what I have to say. I'm going to say what it is that I want. And this is just me being honest. So thank you very much. I thank the Most High. Have a nice evening.